Hello. I'm just checking to see if we're starting. Herb.
I heard, so we haven't begun yet. We're just waiting for Karen.
Oh, okay, great. I
Thank you
gotta
so
leave
much.
at like 10 to 5, 10 to 10 hard stop because I gotta walk in the court. But I'm
Okay.
here. That's all.
All right,
Thanks.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. My apologies. I didn't have a link and my first meeting in the morning ran long, and so my sincere apologies to everybody. Yesterday, you might have seen we've got a couple of edits to a couple of the factors that came through. I'm putting the finishing touches on a draft for the commission to return to you all to take a look at. But if you have any further edits to the factors that have been sent thus far, if you could send those to Kirsten Briner so that she can route that to everybody. But let's start with convening the meeting. My apologies, a little flummoxed here. And may I have a motion to approve the minutes of our prior meeting?
So moved.
Move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Thank you. Motion passes. One of the things that I did want to discuss this morning, we've talked a fair amount about retention as one of the goals, given the number of departures from the bench over that period of time, and still looking at that list a little bit. But in 5147, where the judges' salaries are specified, there are longevity payments, which are often considered retention payments for individuals who have been on the bench for 15, 20, 25 years. It's up to a 3% of salary. Is that something that we want to discuss, make recommendations about with regard to that particular aspect of the judicial compensation? In addition, there are additional stipends for service as a division head, if you will, or a deputy administrator. And is that something we also would like to look at adjusting, whether it's adjusting in accordance with our recommendation with regard to the percent minimum and maximum, or something different, so that we can give them a comprehensive recommendation and the commission's assessment in those spaces. Yes, Attorney Ogilvy?
So I just have a question. Are those payments automatic, or is that something that is subjective and changes every year? I don't know anything about how it works.
With regard to the payments for service in a leadership role, they appear to be an additional stipend onto the salary paid on an annual basis. I would assume that it's paid like regular wages bi-weekly, over the course of the year. With regard to the longevity payments, the individual would have to hit those number of years of service in order to be eligible for it. The cadence of which the longevity payments are paid out, I don't know. For regular state employees, when they used to do the longevity payments, and some of the unions do still have longevity payments, they're usually done in April and October. I don't know if it didn't specify in the statute, at least not to my recollection. I'll pull it out while we're talking, as to whether or not that's just rolled in on a bi-weekly basis or it's paid in 2 lump sums.
Thank you.
Up my third copy of the statute.
Karen, I guess my initial reaction on the longevity payments is I actually would like to have more information, and I know this is late in the day for us to get more information. I can imagine an argument where we don't want to keep the judges who've been on the bench for 20 years. And so why are we incentivizing them to stay on for another 3 years just so that judge can achieve the longevity payments? I can also imagine a scenario where we think in some instances it's really valuable. But I do think it's complicated enough that it's hard at this late stage for us to take on the issue.
And I welcome further comments. It's 5147 sub D, and it is semi-annual longevity payments based on services as a judge of any or all of such 6 courts or other state service or service as an elected officer of the state. Melissa, do you have?
Yeah, could I offer a little bit of background? So when the longevity payments were discontinued for state employees, the same thing happened with judges, but the problem was that the judges' salaries are in statute. So if a judge was receiving longevity payments before the change was made, they continue to receive it. So there are only approximately 50 judges that get any longevity payments. No new judges get longevity payments. And I mean, I think the goal was to make it the same for the state employees, which was to end it. But again, because the judges' salaries were in statute, it wasn't as clean as what happened with the state employees. So I don't know if you even want to talk about this because it's a very few, it's going to diminish over time. The judges will not be receiving longevity payments as we move forward.
I appreciate that background, Melissa, which was not evident from the statute. And I do recall that for at least the management confidential employees who were getting longevity payments at that time, it was rolled into their salary and it just ceased on that date. So,
right.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
So if I understand Melissa correctly, it remains in the statute, and those who are receiving it are continuing to get it under grandfathering. But as judges' service reaches the statutory threshold, they're not getting it. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, Attorney Nelson, Dean Nelson.
Could we get a little bit more information about the leadership stipend, what the current amount is, what the history is in terms of it increasing? A little bit more information about that would be helpful.
And again, I only have the current amounts that are in statute. I'd have to go back and look at. I have not done that research myself, and this is something that Melissa may be able to provide some additional background on. It does not appear so, for instance, in 2024, a judge designated as an administrative judge of the appellate system shall receive $1,371 in additional compensation. Each Superior Court judge designated as an administrative judge of a judicial district shall receive $1,371 in additional compensation, and each Superior Court judge designated as a chief administrative judge for facilities, administrative appeals, judicial marshal service, or judge trial referees, or for family, juvenile, criminal, or civil division of the Superior Court shall receive $1,371 in additional compensation.
So if it's helpful, I can tell you a little bit about the structure. So there are 13 judicial districts, and there is one judge that is designated as the administrative judge, handles all of the operations, from important things like, scheduling trials to parking. And then there are 5 chief administrative judges, and that is by division. So it's criminal, civil, juvenile, family. I think I'm forgetting one. And they really are the folks that help with training. They tell the judges what new statutes have occurred. They're there to be a resource, and they get a little bit extra money. It used to be $1,000. That's what they got. And over the years, whatever the percentage increase that the judges got, they got. So it's a little bit more money for honestly a ton of extra work that these judges do. So that's what that is all about. And if you need more info, I'm happy to provide that.
Yeah, this is Herb. To Jim's point, it's kind of a lot of information at the last moment. But as far as the administrative judges, I don't know if this is true. I think they're chosen and they serve at the discretion of someone else, I believe. Those roles, is that accurate? I mean, they can all be, so we don't have an issue where, there's someone who's been there that they prefer retire, which, I'm not thinking of anybody in particular, but if that's an issue, these judges are all serving at the pleasure of someone else. So if they're not doing, what, whoever's above them thinks is appropriate, they can always get moved elsewhere. And they do have a lot of work. So that, so the administrative judges certainly, and I don't know if they come into that same sort of historical issue that Melissa was alluding to.
So they're all sitting judges. They all have their normal responsibilities. And then the chief court administrator will assign judges to serve as chief administrative judges and as administrative judges. And the precedent and the history is that they serve no longer than 5 years. So they're doing all of their work with some extra responsibilities, and then after 5 years, someone else is appointed to resume those responsibilities.
Yeah. My sense on both of these topics, Karen, is we should mention them, but I don't think they should affect the outcome. I think even a footnote to say, longevity payments, while still reflected in the statute, have been phased out. And so that is a diminishing number of judges and it doesn't remain a mechanism for incentivizing retention. And then with these special position payments, those are very limited number of judges who undertake additional responsibilities. And we're looking at judges, the bulk of judges who don't do those jobs.
I think that is a great approach to this. I just wanted to confirm, and Melissa has confirmed that these numbers do go up when there's a % increase applied. So we don't need to address that separately and just reflect it in the report. Is there anything further that we believe that we need to touch on, discuss? As indicated, I will circulate the report, the draft of the report, for further comments. If you have comments on the existing factors that have been submitted by members, please try to send those around. There were 2 circulated yesterday with additional edits in them. I know some of you have weighed in on the previous versions already, but if you have any further comments, please do so. And then we will circulate the draft report and take those comments, and then we can, by a virtual meeting, approve the final report. If that fits for everybody.
Can I just ask, for the final report, is there a certain date you want us to get you the comments to you?
We are required to submit it by January 2nd. So if I can get the draft report to everybody by close of business tomorrow, if we could try to do that no later than the end of next week, would be helpful.
And then the other question was, do we have another meeting scheduled, or is this?
We do not yet have another meeting scheduled. And as I said, we can do that virtually by voting on the report. If everybody, and if people feel that we need further discussion, then we can schedule it differently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Karen, in the event that we don't have another meeting face to face, I just wanted to thank you for your work. You've been an extraordinary leader, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Attorney Horowitz. It's been a pleasure working with all of you and getting to know you a little bit. And same here. Thank you for all your work that you've done and the thoughtfulness that you put into this effort. Anything further? Motion to adjourn, and happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Bye-bye.